Yeah, that Justin guy's a fuck. Oh. Previously on Basement Discourse, we talked to KJ and a little bit about Warhammer, and I think that's about it.
You forgot about the
Mostly.
sex jokes.
Oh yeah, a bunch of sex
They
jokes.
were consistent both between D&D and that episode with KJ.
Yeah.
But here, as your asexual person, we have Bottom Man, Justin. He's our D&D guy.
He's sexual at best.
Yeah, the overly sexualized Snack Pack over there. He's our gamer guy. And unfortunately, you're stuck with me. I'm your anime guy, and you know what that means sexually.
Mean hentai wanks.
Yeah, this is Brady. Welcome to Basement Discourse. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please subscribe because we know at least 50% of you aren't, even though you keep tuning in every week. This week, we're going to talk about something I'm super passionate about, but I'm going to throw to somebody else because that seems like the polite way to do this.
Name them.
I'm going to go, I think my last host I threw to Jace, so I'm going to go bottom guy. You know what we're talking about. You go with it.
Yeah. So we're talking about Worms Armageddon, the game from...
Dude, I'd be happy with that.
Sick fucking game.
I know, right?
That's fucking great.
Wasn't it fun?
For the Worm series.
Yeah,
Dead
dude.
set.
Right? That was
Love
so
that.
fucking good.
I tried to teach Claire how to play that game, and she was like, "You're just blowing me up. I don't get this." And I was like, "Good."
That's the point.
Yes!
Continue to not understand this. Holy
Worms
hand
Armageddon
grenade.
special.
Dude, that's a fucking great idea for content. You know
I
what's a
still
bad
have it.
idea for
I
content?
love it.
Man of Steel.
It's
Yeah,
such
well,
a
you
good
can't sit there
idea.
and watch a fucking 3-hour movie.
Yeah, we watch us doing the reacts on it and just be like,
Oh,
That's a
wow.
really
Henry Cavill with a fucking beard.
Henry Cavill not being the Witcher is just so fucking weird. Yeah, so Man of Steel is what we're actually going to talk about. I just watched it yesterday. Wow, I watched the second half of it yesterday. I watched part of it to start with, and I was like, all right, gone to bed, watch the next part. Okay, glad I didn't stay up late to watch the rest of it. Yeah, look, it was okay. Honestly, I don't know. Like it had everything it should have. I just don't know what it was missing. I can't work it out. The relationship between Lois and fucking Superman is just weird. Like, I don't really feel like they built that up at all. It was just like, I know who you are. You're that guy. You've got some abilities and stuff. You're probably from another planet. And he's like, yeah, that's me. And then they're like all of a sudden like super close. And I don't really know how they built that up over like 2 encounters. It's just like, it's odd.
I sort of feel that to a degree. I definitely feel like Lois felt a bit weird. Like, they spent a lot of time building up her as a character.
Yeah.
But then the like building her relationship with Soups seemed relatively short in comparison.
It was just
like
she just
the
sort of
phase
worked out who he
between
was, and then that was about it. Like, and then she was kind of just like Team Superman from there, and that was about it. Like, there wasn't much in between. They didn't have any downtime. Like, they didn't go get a coffee together. Like, it was just literally like, I know who you are. Boom. Next scene, they're like hugging, and she's saying goodbye, and he's like, "Yo, you stay here, baby. I'm gonna go fight these people."
Yeah,
that was it.
But I don't really think that's necessarily a bad thing though, because I couldn't give 2 shits about Lois, to be quite frank.
This is true, but if you don't understand the Superman story, then there's no character building whatsoever. We only know that there's a relationship between these two because we know ahead of time going into this movie that has happened. So I don't know if like Man of Steel itself is actually a good film, or whether because of our knowledge of Superman. So I just want someone who's never heard of Superman to watch it and be able to like give us an unbiased approach, because I already know the story of Superman. We all do. Unfortunately, most people do. So I don't know whether that, like, they're assuming that everyone already knows it going into it, but I just don't feel like they built it up enough. Like, it's just kind of like, Lois is there. Okay, cool. You don't really know unless you know that they're destined to be together, that they're going to be together.
Man's watched one fucking slice of life rom-com, and he's just like, no. relationships. That's the focus of everything.
Did you not watch all 3 Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies? It's literally him trying to rail Kirsten Dunst and then not trying to rail her and then trying to rail her again.
Yeah, and then
It's
regrets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, apart from the relationship thing, I think everything else sort of played out pretty cool, I guess. I don't know, it just seemed like it was missing stuff, and I don't know what it was. I can't really put my finger on it. I don't know.
Okay. I mean, that's fine. I mean, that's your take. It's wrong, but that's your take.
Your opinion is welcome to it, and you're wrong.
In fairness, the lowest thing I don't entirely disagree with. I think there's a little bit more to it if you delved into like the emotional side, but also I'm willing to do that because I'm a big fan, obviously, of Superman stuff. I think there's a lot in that relationship that wasn't thrown in the viewer's face with like, oh my God, a human who accepts him, who knows him. That's part of why he felt that connection much sooner. For her, I didn't really get it though. So I do agree with you with the like Lois's character was built up and then the connection was too quick. I agree from his. I agree with
just
you,
looked
but
like
also
she was interested
wanted
in
to add
finding
a
a
little
story. You know, like she was just chasing the story, and then she found the story, and all of a sudden she was in love with him. It's like, all right, that doesn't happen overnight. Like that's just some weird shit.
Yeah, no, I don't.
I get his acceptance
of
of her as well, but I also didn't see how they built that up enough. Like,
yeah, and like why wouldn't he just become like really good friends with her at first?
Yeah, I feel like they could have just played the long game and just done that in the second film.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
If this was a plan from the start, I mean, I'm assuming it was, they would have sat down at some point and be like, all right, Henry Cavill's on board. Let's do more than one of these guys.
I don't
let's
think
come
so.
back to that after I get Jace's take, because I have some thoughts on DC in doing this with plot points, with big plot points. So I want to get your thoughts first, Jace, and then
Okay, so I got a lot of thoughts. I actually wrote up a Google Doc about it. So
sweet.
Well, here we go. Extended episode.
Yeah.
All right. So first and foremost, I sort of agree with Justin as overall view of the film. It's maybe like a 6 out of 10. It's a good film, not a great film. And I don't inherently think this is like a Zack Snyder, Henry Cavill sort of issue. I don't think they did anything wrong necessarily, but I do have my problems with it. To go through my criticisms pretty quickly, the whole Earth atmosphere thing as his like weakness, that's kryptonite with a hat. That is so fucking close to what kryptonite does to him that it's just like, oh, we got Earth atmosphere. Like
it is, but didn't you feel like that was a better modern take on a glowing rock?
Not really, because it's an invisible atmosphere. Like it's you're just trading one thing for the same effects of another thing. And so while it is different, and I appreciate that, it's different, but it still has the same effect. So it's kind of like that.
His weakness wasn't the Earth atmosphere, though, was it?
He's
that
was the other guy, but
Zod.
Yeah, so it's Zod's weakness, but his was the Krypton atmosphere. So
right, yeah.
But
well, it's kind of like, have you ever dived really deep in the water, like really fucking deep?
No, we get it, but we understand it. It's that Jace is arguing it's
a bit of a cop out.
Yeah, well, I felt like it was a better explanation for the same effect. I won't argue it's the same effect because it clearly is.
I think it was kind of cool. The only reason I liked it,
I thought it was better.
They went from Krypton, where they're just regular people fighting like regular people, and all of a sudden Superman's a god on the Earth, and you're kind of like, well, why? And then the explanation to that is that he's like, whatever. The sun radiation is way closer and all that bullshit. So that worked pretty well. And then the fact that he's then on the ship and it makes him weaker because of the Krypton, whatever the fuck, you know, like I think that works. I think it all plays out pretty good, that part.
So
I agree with you. I think it is still it not only works, it is better than kryptonite, because I also never understood why they had a rock that made them weak in their own planet.
Well,
But
like,
I do.
don't- power or something?
I also find,
No.
Oh,
No,
what the
I
fuck?
also-
it's just a natural mineral that grows
Yeah.
on their, like, that is in their planet, and it
Yeah.
makes them weak, and that's the reason why they're normal on their planet, but they come to Earth and they're super strong. Like
it's
the
also
sun
red.
radiation.
Also, Krypton is a red sun. But I also find it hard to disagree with Jace. So, like, I agree that I thought it was heaps good. I liked that weakness. If you're going to give Superman a physical weakness, I thought that beats the shit out of glowing rocks. But it is hard to deny it is kryptonite with a hat.
it has the same effect as having kryptonite.
You can totally see that they're the same thing, but
Yeah,
I still
so
think it's.
I thought it was still better.
Yeah,
it's better, but I don't think it's great.
but then the other thing is, how do they bring it back? You know, how do they keep bringing kryptonite back now?
Well, they don't. They fuck it up in Batman v Superman and do kryptonite.
Oh, right. Okay. So they just bring that into it.
If you recall from that terrible fucking movie. Yeah.
Okay.
But we're not talking about that movie right now.
That. We're talking about another terrible movie.
All right. So the next,
I believe you said mid.
Yeah, it's eight. Yeah.
The next problem is, how the fuck did they keep leaving the atmosphere, like in the fight between Zod and Superman, or maybe it was one of the lieutenants, generals, whatever. They kept leaving the atmosphere and they kept landing back in either Smallville or Metropolis.
Yeah, that just
How
doesn't actually be home. Dude
That's
doesn't
a big fucking
dude
planet.
doesn't want to leave his area code, man. He's just like, I ain't ever left home.
Like, if he landed in Gotham just once, I'd be like, ha, that was good.
Yeah.
That would have been a good little
I
cameo
got
from
that
Batman
in the
or something.
first watch as well, because even the comics don't do that. Like, if he does have one of those superpowered fights, they like to have fun with the drawings, and they'll be like, this is Africa, clearly, because of
goes
the
through
critters,
pyramids and just screws up all the natural architecture.
No,
in the world.
100%. Like,
Yeah,
they do that in the comics a lot. So my best bet is budget and film sets, which is sad, to be honest. I agree. That is a genuine problem, and I will 100% give that to you.
But in saying that, talking about budget and set design and that, even though there was a reasonable budget for that film, I don't.
It all went to Henry Cavill and his chin.
Henry Cavill was a nobody at that point.
Yeah, no, he wasn't known. No,
that was his breakout film.
Damn.
So that's sort of what got him started. And Zack Snyder was like, he'd done a few films, but like nothing huge until Man of Steel. So I don't think DC were banking on using that to start the DCU, is it? DC,
yeah.
Or DCU or whatever.
Mm.
Yeah, but they weren't expanding their universe off that, which is part of the reason why I think the lowest thing might have been rushed a bit, because they probably thought, this is one film, they're never going to be able to do this again. They got to fit everything in one hit.
Yeah.
Sorry, I actually don't want to interrupt you, but I have some
But you will.
So the Jerry Siegel, the creator of Superman, big debacle lawsuit. So this is actually something you will love knowing and hate for knowing. There's a reason that there's Superman films released basically on the dot all the time. It's because if they don't, they have to pay a fuck ton of money to the family. And the family get the money from the films anyway. So there's a stupid lawsuit deal with that. So Superman Returns is a victim of that. They had to make a film or else lose the rights to Superman.
Yeah, fair enough.
So Warner Brothers have to constantly make...
It's like a record label
Superman
deal. Like,
films.
they need to be producing those damn albums every year or else.
Yeah, I think there's a similar thing with Sony and like Fantastic Four. I think that's how a couple of those films have come out. But Superman and the Jerry Siegel family, or the Siegel family, they have a similar thing. So you're actually probably not far off base. I have a little bit of information on that. Yeah, they do need to make these films.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. So
makes
the next
sense.
thing on my list was Superman's dad deserved to die for leaving the dog in the car.
He didn't.
That
They
death
all forgot about the
was-
dog.
Yeah,
Oh, right.
that
yeah,
was-
He
initially.
deserved it.
So
Yeah.
I hated that scene, one, because they should have used a teenage version actor, because Henry Cavill shaven still looks the fucking same. And that
He
looked
didn't
dumb.
look much younger, did he?
No, he didn't at all. It was so stupid. And of all the ways in comics his dad has died, that was the dumbest.
Potentially
because
the fucking slowest.
Yeah, and usually it's for an impact in moment, like they tried to do with that, like hide your secret, the world's not ready. But that was the shittest to me that I think I've ever seen his dad die. So that criticism is agreed upon from my point of view. Not necessarily for the dog thing. That was a weird thing that happened. I don't quite know why
how they all
everybody
got out of the car.
bailed.
And
Yeah.
didn't kill the dog.
I don't know. I think they got out of the car to see what the fuck was happening first, and then they're like, "Oh shit!" And then they just
Okay,
let's get out.
Don't forget that the speed at which Clark can move, like he didn't necessarily need to
fast
even
enough that-
show his powers to be able to be like, "Oh yeah, I'll just let the dog out of the car." Like,
Yeah, he could
I
literally
agree.
move
That
so
was a
fast. He
weird
could
thing.
have gone, opened the door, and then gone back before anyone would have
It didn't
seen
even
him
need
move.
to
Maybe
do
he
it
wasn't
back.
fast enough yet. Maybe because he was young. He was young. Clark.
They didn't do a good job of
Clearly he
showing
didn't
his
look it.
power set younger compared to older. That's valid with the dog thing.
And as a mandatory technology thing to bring up,
Oh god. Here we go.
the weird scene where the "you are not alone" and like all the TVs started displaying the
Yeah,
video
yeah.
from Zod.
With the different languages, yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. So fair enough, aliens, technology, whatever. But the weirdest part I thought was this woman said that it's appearing on all the RSS feeds. Now, an RSS feed is just like a feed of like text and links that you get. Like
That's what I
so
use for podcasts.
Yeah, so you can have just a feed that's like, who is checking that to see if aliens are sending? And what RSS feeds are they sending it to? Is it like some fucking alien transmission RSS feed that they've got?
Yeah, it's just
What
open
the
line from
One
Roswell.
fucking absolute geek is watching this right now, like Area 51 fuck. And he's just like, these guys don't know. That's where the real aliens talk.
Just
For
like
sure.
scratching underneath of his aluminium foil helmet. He's like,
Yeah.
these guys don't understand a thing.
So, Billy Bob, when you're hearing this, if
Yeah.
you can send me a link to that RSS feed, I'd appreciate it. I know.
That'd be good.
So yeah, there was that, and then Kal-El's dad choosing to sacrifice their entire population because they were set in their cultural ways. Like,
Yeah, he was just
Like-
like, well, you're fucked up now.
so when
I'm gonna take my family and just I'm just gonna go, right? Like I'm just gonna go now.
he's just like, oh yeah, I'll send off the savior of our planet.
Yeah, which is
But
my
then he-
son.
But like, there was tons of warning for them to all fuck off.
Yeah.
But I believe there was some storyline
Yeah.
thing as to why they weren't all able to leave. But there was plenty of warning, and he's like, no, we've got to sacrifice us because we're too set in our ways or something like that. It's like, come on, as if people can't learn to fucking live, like as if everyone's going to be like
I think it's
Zod
going to be a
and-
valuable lesson if you got like, I don't know, 10,000 of your people off and watched your planet be destroyed from your own decisions. I think everyone would be like,
Yeah.
let's probably not do that again. Like, I think we
Let's
might
go to Earth
learn
and
from
do that
this.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think his idea, I agree entirely, except, yeah, I didn't understand in that film, and again, this is like the difference between all the different medias and that film, why exactly him and his wife had to die, because they clearly weren't set in their ways. Because first of all, they had a natural born kid. That was a big thing in this movie, was that
Yep.
Kryptonians aren't natural born. They're all like weird. So they clearly weren't set in their ways. Why the fuck did they have to die?
Exactly.
That was a
Like,
weird thing. Yeah.
even if his dad had to die to like stop Zod or whatever, why didn't the mum leave? Like,
Yeah.
I think they were both focusing on getting him out, right?
I think
They
a lot of
sort
this is
fluffed about a bit.
because
I'm the
this is,
first person
like-
to defend it, but I felt that as well, because I was like, the
I
fuck?
think realistically it's probably just sacrifice because of the like
Alright, cool.
duration of the
So
film.
so
So,
what's your
like,
rate
What do you mean?
overall?
Overall?
Yeah.
6 out of 10, maybe.
I'm
Cool.
gonna give it a 7 out of 10, just because
Yeah.
visually it was still fun.
That's what I was going to ask. So, okay, so we've
So-
talked mostly about plot points and errors that you guys found in it. Cinematography, though.
Yeah, I
So-
mean, old mate like fucking riding that beastie at the start was pretty pimp. That was some.
Oh,
that
the
was some pretty
Avatar
cool
Krypton?
moments.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was pretty
that was
badass.
sick. That creature was awesome. Like the explosions and like the whole like Smallville pretty much just being destroyed. That was cool. Yeah, like it was kind of cool. Yeah, for the most part, some of the
Yeah.
fights was sick.
So in my like praise section, I actually have something about this, and that is that the fight scenes are fucking impressive. Like, whenever like the like superpowered people are fighting, and like fucking Zod or whatever punches Superman into the ground, you fucking feel it, because he just
Yeah.
fucking thonks into the ground. It's like,
Yeah.
oof.
Yeah,
Like, I had some issues with certain things. Like, they did try and go with like a gritty feel to how the cinematography was done. Like, certain scenes look like they're sort of handheld because like it'll be over the shoulder and there'll be a bit of wiggle in the camera and stuff. That's fine. I can overlook all of that. But where it really counted, I think it was pretty impressive. CGI in some spots is a bit dated now, but for the most part, visually, it's a fucking solid film.
Yeah, I felt that as well. I thought it was one of the more impressive both soundtrack matching, although sometimes that bass is a bit fucking much, as well as just the visual was just great. Like the fight scenes, to me, this is a silly comparison, but I got to do it because it's my thing. It's how, if you were going to make a live action Dragon Ball film with people flying around hitting each other, that's how it should look.
absolutely.
I loved that when like the little, I think it's the Smallville bank where there's like a vault or something, and he like flies and hits her, but we don't see that. We just see him there and then shit flying around and he's knocked her into the ground. Like, that is how that would look to a normal person. They sometimes did that and sometimes showed it slowed down for our benefit. I think the action scenes were actually really understated in that film. And then there was some dramatic moments that were really, really good that probably didn't get the attention they deserved. The first flight scene, where he has the only bit about that annoyed me was they overdid the repeating of his dad's words thing. That was a bit overdone for me. But him attempting, not getting it first time and knocking out half a fucking mountain. And
That was
then,
sick,
like,
yeah.
That's actually one of
was-
my other praises, is that showing him actually learn to use his powers. Because one bad trope that Superman films and a lot of superhero films, except like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, actually all the Spider-Mans really, they all seem to show everyone failing. But pretty much outside of Spider-Man, everyone else is like, oh, well, got superpowers. Watch me be a professional.
Yeah.
Did you guys see, it's a tangent, did you guys see the first Ghost Rider with Nicolas Cage?
Yes.
A long time ago, yeah. I don't remember
Yeah,
much of it though.
So there's it's a terrible fucking film, but
Yeah.
it's hilarious to watch. It's one of those so bad it's good. There's a moment where this fucking thing keeps overtaking him at night, and he finds out and he starts to believe it, because these things in those sorts of movies take about 10 minutes from disbelief to full belief. And then he picks up one book that happens to be the right book that says, do this. So then he's like, he's like, I'm talking to the fire spirit within me. Do what I say. And then like 5 seconds later, he's in control of the whole thing. And I was like, oh yeah, that's how that works. Yeah. This thing just
Conquered his
totally
demons in 5 minutes.
took control.
Yes.
Whereas this movie did not do that. Man of Steel was very much, he had some stuff. I liked that the eye radiation seemed to hurt Kryptonians to a degree as well.
Yeah.
Like heat vision. That I thought that was an interesting feature to put in and good. So it also somewhat depowers it because it's not something they can just consistently do to the point of ridiculous. Like it hurts.
Yeah. Yeah, that's sick.
His little the oil rig and all those things leading up to it, where he's kind of in search of something that he doesn't know. I thought that was all good plot points, good writing. Obviously the bearded him, we all agree, was kind of weird because Henry Cavill.
Bearded him was
that's the normal. That's the normal.
Him shaving his face was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I don't care if Superman's supposed to have a
he has a perfect butt chin for Superman, frustratingly enough, but he looks so much more normal with a beard.
Yeah.
He's a good-looking man with a beard.
Yeah.
And
I
he's a
enjoyed the
PC
comedy
gamer.
being
I know,
low.
right? And a Witcher fan.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
He actually-
Henry Cavill, for the record, the perfect Superman.
Right?
In the modern era.
Yeah.
Actually, he might actually almost be the worst Superman because he nearly missed his chance to audition
I've
for
heard
that role
this.
because he was busy playing World of Warcraft and he didn't hear his agent calling.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, so good.
What a fucking sick cunt.
I've heard that story and it's fucking great. No, Henry Cavill's true geek. There's like YouTube videos of him building PCs at all sorts of really
I
cool
watched
stuff.
that video.
And his big demands with The Witcher was that it had to be good. Like he was really.
I'll do it, but it needs to be like,
no,
pretty
but
good.
he was like, it's got to be in line with the source material that they were doing, and you can go back and forward. I don't know if we've discussed on the show, but the first season and the timeline stuff was all a bit fucking weird. But it's
hard to follow, but when you actually do follow it, you're like, oh shit, that was good.
And like there's a continuous joke with Henry Cavill in parts not actually having that many talking parts. Somebody cut down BVS and he's talking lines, and I think it's like 2 minutes or something like that. Like he doesn't talk in that fucking movie, which is hysterical.
To be fair though, The Witcher doesn't talk much anyway, so
that's the thing. Like whether it's typecasting or whatever, it works really well in The Witcher. But as Clark, as the Clark that they portrayed, the one who has all of these questions, and I thought it was good. If you're going to do a Superman origin, if you're going to do a guy who doesn't know but has a strong moral foundation, I thought that as a plot was amazing. And apart from the visual, I thought attacking his self-confidence or self-image or like his identity was a better way to go with a Superman movie than a glowing green rock is his weakness. Because even though the atmosphere thing was his physical weakness, they kept attacking his, you don't know yourself, you don't know your people, you don't know who you should align yourself with.
Yeah,
that's what that movie felt like to me. I felt like
him and Zod, it was good.
I felt like that was good writing. I'm still not sure about the killing part, but at least, first of all, just to set the record straight, there is a history of Superman very occasionally killing, and I can get into that if you have questions. But it didn't
like
look
Batman,
like it.
though.
It didn't look like it was without suffering. Like he didn't just willy-nilly kill Zod. He
made a pretty hard choice.
Yeah,
he had. Yeah. I felt like they built it up a lot, but a lot of the criticism for that film was it was a Superman film where he killed someone, and I was like, I didn't think that was the reason you should slam that film. There were a couple reasons which Jace outlined well, and I agreed with a lot of them.
I think I didn't feel like that was his massive choice of like, do I, bring my people back because this is the only way, or do I save these people who are now my people? That was the big choice, and him crossing the line that he probably didn't want to cross was the massive decision.
But it is
Yeah.
I think it was
also
pretty good.
it is also like an origin story. Like, in saying that, like making mistakes is all part of that
That's
superhero
right.
origin.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite things in Gotham, if you guys have seen that show, is Bruce Wayne's character actually kills someone in the story, which I believe was Ra's al Ghul, which is a big persisting character. But after that kill, it torments him horrifically. And I think that's the thing, is like that, you know, you're coming to understand who you are and you're not going to be perfect from the get-go.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that kill, he's still like in his early 20s, mid 20s at that point.
He's quite young, yeah, and he hasn't. Not only that, he hasn't come to terms with the separate identities, or his identity as an alien, or his identity as a human, or really fully aware. Like, he's only flown days earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a somewhat godlike ability. Like, he knew he was, hard to hurt and could shoot lasers at his eyes, but that was about the limit of his knowledge previously. So I guess, like, I've got your rating as a film. So my big question for you guys, because obviously I've set you guys up to watch this movie. That's not a secret at this point. Do you think it deserved more as a thing? And then we can discuss DC's problems maybe on another time.
What do you mean deserve more as a
So
thing?
they're
That's a terrible
discussing.
fucking
So
description.
the big internet thing now is like Man of Steel sequel. Should it have occurred? Should it occur? Would you like to see it occur, or do you think they had a good go? Leave it.
I haven't seen the ones after it, so I don't know if they're meant to be sequels or not.
Don't
BVS
worry
and
about
Justice League.
terrible,
Yeah.
not good movies.
Okay.
So
Right.
I have some thoughts because I'm a bit of a Batman nerd and Superman sort of within that world.
So just on the realm of Henry Cavill, the Zack Snyder setup of Man of Steel, would you like to see a Man of Steel 2 based on what you saw in Man of Steel?
Definitely.
Yeah, I would.
Because
I would go for that.
Man of Steel is hands down the best Superman film ever. Like, I've seen a lot of Superman films.
Yeah.
And they are all shit.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I'm not a massive fan of anything
some
else.
of them are great to watch for like a laugh, but not one of them have I ever actually enjoyed. I remember watching like I don't know if it's 70s or 80s, the original like Superman film with what's his face?
Christopher Reeves.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it as a kid, but watching it now, I'm like, this is fucking awful, but it's sort of funny to watch.
Yeah,
It's so camp.
It's like the old Adam West Batman that, like, it's just they're just the goof for their time.
Yeah, but they didn't do funny stuff in it. It was supposed to be serious, despite being the Adam West level of camp.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Which is what makes them a little bit difficult to watch now, I think, and I think that's what Jace is portraying. I don't know what's happening.
Zack
I think
Snyder.
you're thinking Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
So, and then like Batman versus Superman was a fucking awful film, and I wish I could wipe that out of my fucking memory.
I still haven't watched it because of that.
Yeah, no, it's fucking terrible.
Look, you should watch it so you can have that. Yeah.
It's like 3 hours.
Watch it on a day. Is it 3 hours? I thought it was.
No, it's not that long.
The Justice League Snyder cut. Now that's a fucking 3 hour monstrosity.
That's 4 hours.
Yeah. So the Justice League Zack Snyder cut is literally the only version of the Justice League you should watch.
Yes, don't watch the OG.
It still doesn't save that movie.
Okay, so what bothers me about that movie, just quickly before we get back onto what we're doing, 4 hours for a part 1 can go fuck itself.
That's 100% some bullshit. Why wouldn't they just do a TV show at that point? You got 4 hours and it's part 1. Like, you got 8 fucking episodes.
That's the problem. Is they needed that 4 hours because the OG release of it was terrible. You watch the Snyder cut and you go, okay, that's good. I've got every character under wraps. but this is only half the fucking story. That's ridiculous. You shouldn't need 4 hours. And if you do, I hate to say it, you should have built it up like Marvel did with their Avengers movie.
That's what I was going to say is, so Marvel did it with like Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, blah, 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 blah. And then you have all these other separate movies. They really should have done it that way because so the way the Justice League movies framed is like, you have this like segment that's like Aquaman's segment. And then there's like the next one that's Wonder Woman's segment.
Yeah, it just sounds like TV shows to me. Like they could have just done one episode each of an awesome TV series, you know? Like, I think they just got scared.
Instead, they took 4 hours to tell the story.
To tell half the story.
I just think like they should have done like maybe like 3 movies first as like coming up to what happens in Justice League, then the Justice League movie, and then you can do sequels from there to fill that out.
Yeah, so like the Iron Man, Captain America, and friggin' Spider-Man or whatever, and then you've got the first Avengers film sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 100%. That's they should have definitely gone that route, but
basically they wanted to take advantage of what MCU was doing, but they didn't have the time to release everything, so they're like, all right, straight to Justice League.
Slap it all together,
which is a shame because some of the casting in some of their parts, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman is amazing. Her acting is good. I liked both her movies, even if I have plot issues, they're good.
I don't really like her movies, but in saying that, it's not a problem with the movies. It's just because I don't like Wonder Woman. I think
that's fine.
I just do not enjoy her. I just do not enjoy her as a superhero,
and that's fine. But the movies are fine.
Chicks with whips, man.
They
with
did
whips.
a good.
I do like chicks with whips, though.
Batfleck, I'm glad they didn't try to give him a movie beforehand. They didn't need to. I wouldn't mind seeing one now.
Fuck yeah, give me a Batfleck movie. But
give me one
also
now.
We've got Robert Pattinson. I'm pretty happy with that.
Yes, but there's a lot going on about that. But I think we're just about out of time.
Oh shit! Better go then.
Oh.
Stay up.
All right.
That's it. So Man of Steel, the final vote is
Yep.
up and away.